Hey guys, so today I'll be telling the story about my labor and delivery and just everything that happened to me that day. And I feel like it's going to be such a long video, so let's just start now. Throughout my whole entire pregnancy, I was so miserable. I remember not sleeping. Oh, I was so tired. It hurt so bad to walk. I was walking like major penguin. And I was supposed to have her September 14th, but the earliest that my doctor would let me give birth was September 11th, or to go in September 10th and then possibly have her September 11th or September 12th. And I was like, well, let's just go in on the 10th. And usually when you're induced and they have to jumpstart labor, it takes a whole day or a day and a half. So I was hoping that I would be in labor on September 11th and not have her until the morning of September 12th, 3 in the morning. I don't care. And the reason why I didn't want to have her on September 11th was it's my cousin's birthday that day, and I wanted Alina to just have her own day. Obviously I know it happens, it's fine. And 9/11's kind of a bad memory day. I don't know, I just feel it's kind of bad luck, or I don't know. That's why I didn't want that date, but I was so miserable. I was like, let's just do the September 10th. Delivery day, September 10th. I don't know if it was Labor Day, or I feel Labor Day was around that time because I remember somebody cracking a joke that I was gonna go into labor on Labor Day. So Alex had work that day, and we had to be at the hospital at 8, I want to say. Yeah, I want to say at 8 that we had to be at the hospital. And she was like, make sure you eat dinner because when you go into labor, you're not going to eat all day. And I was obsessed with pho, sorry. I'm not sure I'm pretty sure you pronounce it pho, but I was obsessed with pho. And if you don't know what that is, it's a Vietnamese soup, and I'm obsessed. I get the brisket pho. If you haven't tried it, let me put you on. We ate that, me and Alex, and we were on a time crunch. Alex was supposed to get home, I don't know, at a certain time, but he was late. And in my head that day, I wasn't even thinking oh my god, I'm about to give birth. Reality didn't hit me yet. So we went to go eat, and I remember scarfing it down, and then we left and we went to the hospital. So when we got to the hospital, we parked in the parking garage and found our room, got settled in. My mom and my stepdad came that night to make sure they knew where the room was, make sure me and Alex were comfortable, make sure that we had everything. And they came for not even 30 minutes, and then they left, and then it was just me and Alex in the room. And the nurse had let me know that she was going to be checking in on me every 2 to 3 hours to give me this medicine. I don't know what it was supposed to do, but it was supposed to be the medicine before the pill that they give you to get induced. I don't know. I remember her coming in 3 times that night. But that night, me and Alex just watched. I was binge watching Vampire Diaries on Netflix, and we played some Mario Kart on my nephew's Nintendo Switch. I think Alex fell asleep first because he was really tired from work, and I guess I eventually fell asleep. I have really bad insomnia, so I'm pretty sure I didn't sleep that much. And then the nurse kept waking me up and giving me the medicine. So after that, it was 8 in the morning, and I think it was the last round of that pill that she was giving me. When they started to induce me, they gave me this pill, and they were like, this is gonna jumpstart your labor. And I wasn't nervous in the moment. I can't remember what I was thinking. I think I was just going with the flow. Like I said, I feel reality wasn't setting in. So I started to slowly feel my contractions. And then we had the screen where it shows how far apart they are and how intense they are. And I remember thinking like, oh, like these aren't bad, these are like period cramps. Like, and in high school I had the worst period cramps ever. Like, and so everybody was like, oh my god, like it's gonna hurt, like you don't understand, contractions hurt. And I have a really, really high pain tolerance, so I was like, oh, I got this. Like, I really wanted the bragging rights of not having the epidural. I was gonna try the laughing gas first, and then I was gonna try, I think, another way, like where it makes you feel like a little drunkish. But epidural was gonna be last, like the last thing. If I'm dying, like I need the epidural. So I didn't really plan on taking the epidural. So the contractions started, and I was like, oh, I've had period cramps worse than this, right? And then slowly, they just started getting worse and worse. And my mom and my grandma had to step out of the room because they, like you can tell they looked so worried. It's not that I was screaming or anything. I was just, you can tell I was in pain. Like, I had to stay quiet and, like, grab onto the bed railings. And I was like I couldn't even breathe through them, but I could bear it. Like, it was just like 10 seconds or like 10-15 seconds, and then it stopped and I'd feel completely fine. So I was like, okay, like I just have to do this like in intervals or whatever. And then they started getting worse. And when I tell you that it feels like somebody stabs you in the stomach and twists it for like 15 seconds and then takes it out. Like, that's exactly what it feels like. I cannot describe it any, like, better. It just hurts. I felt like I was dying. Like, oh, and that's because I had the laughing gas. So when they started to get, like, kind of bad, I asked for the laughing gas. And it helped, like, every 3 contractions. Like, and the slightest help. And then it started getting so bad where, like, it wasn't working at all. Like, I was dying. Once they started getting really bad, I was talking to the nurse and I was passing out. Like, I was grabbing onto the thing, and I guess Alex was like, Raina. And thank God for Alex, because Alex never, ever left my bedside. Like, he stood up the whole time, and I didn't even realize that until after my labor. But he stood up next to me the whole time, and he was holding my hand, like he was right there, like rubbing my head, giving me everything I needed. He was amazing that day. But I was passing out and he was like, Raina, like, hey, are you good? And the nurse was like, if you're thinking about epidural, like, go ahead and order it because it's gonna get worse. And I was like 6 centimeters dilated at this point. And I was like, okay, well, can I order it? And then, like, if she comes and I don't want it. Because at that point, I was like, I was okay. Like, I was surviving. And then, like, I swear, like, 15 seconds later, not even a minute, like probably right after I finished that sentence, I was like, I got one, and that one killed me. And I was like, where's the epidural? Like, where is it? I need it. And she was like, she's giving, like, the anesthesiologist is giving another patient that right now. So you have to wait until she's done so she can come to me. Oh my gosh. Alex was like calling for the epidural. Like, I was like, where is it? And then finally the anesthesiologist comes in. And she's like, okay, you're going to, like, sit down. I don't know if y'all can see. You're going to sit down and, like, have your knees, like crisscross, but, like, hold them like this. And she was going to be behind me, and Alex was in front of me. And at this time, like, my stomach is, like, I swear, like, so far. Like, it's so far out. And I have to, like, grab my knees. And, like, I'm having contractions during this whole process. And, like, Alex is in front of me, like, making sure I don't move. Because if you move, you can get paralyzed. She gave it to me. I didn't even feel it. Like, apparently it's this needle that's so huge. Didn't even feel it. And, like, the first 3 after the epidural were pretty painful. But after that, like, I'm numb from, like, the waist down. Or actually, like, from this area down. And I couldn't feel anything. And she told me, she was like, you have 3 pumps of the epidural. So, like, if you use them all at once, like, and you're still in labor, like you're already out, you know, like we can't give you more. So you're probably gonna feel it, like you have to manage your pressing of the button, I guess, until the time comes to push. So I'm over here like, I'm chilling, honestly, I'm chilling. And I pushed once. I still had 2 pushes left, right? And it feels like I have to like poop myself, right? Like, I'm like, hey, I gotta go to the restroom. Like, how do I get out of this bed? And they're like, no, like you can't go to the restroom. And I'm like, but I have to go to the restroom. Number 2. The doctor comes in and she measures me and she's like, oh, it's time to push. And I'm like, oh, what? Wait, hold up, what? Like, we're pushing? I'm not ready to push. Like, I still feel like reality has hit me. I'm having this baby today. So we start pushing and she's like, if you don't push until like by 8 or something like this, or she was like, I think it was 6 in the afternoon at this time, and she was like, aim to have this baby by 8 o'clock. And in my head, that's all I thought about, like, I'm having this baby by 8 o'clock. And so I pushed. We were like doing practicing pushes. I pushed for 2 hours straight, no breaks. Like, I would have like every other contraction break, like every now and then. But I was pushing for 2 hours straight. I was so tired. It was like the most physically draining experience that I had in my life. Like, I felt like I ran a marathon. I'm pushing. I'm giving my 110% every single push. Every single push, I tried my hardest. And I was looking at the clock, and Alex was pushing my head down so I could get a better push every time. After that, they're like, oh my God, we see her head, we see her head. And that just gave me way more motivation to keep pushing. So I pushed and pushed, and I just felt this huge, overwhelming feeling of relief. And it was the best feeling of my life. I remember her laying Alina down on my chest, and I remember grabbing her and like crying, and she felt so warm and so small, and it was like love at first sight. Like, it was the best feeling ever. Alex cut the umbilical cord and they were like wiping her off, and then they raised my bed up. Oh no, they didn't. They put her on me and she was like laying on my chest, and I don't remember her crying. I don't think I remember her crying, maybe for like 2 seconds. So I'm holding her and I'm laying down, and they're pushing on my stomach to get the placenta out. And I think that hurt way worse than the contractions, than the birth. Yeah. So they got the placenta out, and she stitched me up because I had a 2nd-degree tear down there. And I remember during labor, like, this might be TMI, but I remember her pulling like this motion because, oh, she didn't let me use my last, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Okay, so I had 2 pumps of the epidural left, and before I started pushing, or when I was gonna give birth, I was saving those pushes for like when I was gonna give birth. And so when I started pushing, she was like, no, she took my epidural pin away, and I was like, she was like, can't get any more epidural because we don't want you to get too numb where you don't know if you're pushing or not. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to feel everything because I just pushed that button once and I had 3 pushes. Like, you just took my 2 pushes away from me. What the heck? So I was pretty upset about that. So when it came down to pushing and Alina coming out and everything, I felt everything. Literally everything. I gave birth to Alina at 8:25 at night, and I was so tired and so relieved, so hungry. My mom had brought me Domino's pizza. Thank God Alina was perfect, healthy baby. I'm so lucky and grateful that we didn't have any complications. But yeah, that was hands down the best day of my life. But yeah, so Thank you for watching. I have very fun videos planned, so please stay tuned.